I'm here at Chris Martenson's place in Massachusetts, and this river is in his backyard. Pretty awesome, huh? One of the things that we wanted to talk about is precious metals, because both of us believe that the next leg up on this precious metals bull market has started. What were you just saying about precious metals, Chris?
Well, I've been a holder of precious metals since 2001. I remember the first purchase I made. It was such a wacky thing. I didn't very few places to figure out how to do this, but somehow I found it. And I remember when that package showed up, I thought it was going to be this big. You know, it was gold. So it was this little tiny package, right? And I was so excited. And I haven't sold any since then. And I've only been accumulating as we go along. And my belief is that gold and silver are an easy way, and one of the more important ways that you can go about protecting yourself during a wealth transfer. Now, when I started doing this, they were printing like $3-4 billion a month, at the Fed. And I thought, oh, how can this ever last? And here we are after QE3 and $85 billion a month, and it's just ridiculous. So my view is that anything that we've seen happen in precious metals is just getting started. And it's not because it's not because the price of precious metals is going to be going up. It's because people's faith in the currency is going to be going down. That's been happening. I can tell you personally that I've had amazing conversations with hedge fund operators, the cream of the, very sophisticated financial people who are coming around to the same thing you and I have been talking about for years, which is, I don't trust this system anymore. There's something really wrong with it. And gold and silver is one way to protect, but it's when the currency faith goes down, the question is, what sort of assets do you want? Gold and silver are an important part of the core of that portfolio, but maybe some other hard assets too.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about farmland. I'm currently looking to buy some acreage down in Puerto Rico up in the mountains. When you go out of San Juan, the cost of land goes way down. It doesn't cost a lot to get like 100 acres or something. So farmland is, they call it the everything bubble. But precious metals and farmland are two of the things that aren't in a bubble, right?
Well, I think compared to the prices we're going to see, it's almost impossible to measure what, this is where I get a little caught up, because when you really track how much money's been created, right, it's just an astonishing number, right? 20 trillion printed by the central banks, but probably 5 or 10 times that amount gets sort of created out of the shadow banking system and all that. So right now, there's this really, really big money. And by the way, the prices of everything are set by big money, right? So you and I, we can buy gold and silver and nothing much happens. But when a single wealth fund, when a single family, decides, a big family office, it's time to move, then you're going to find that we get this thundering herd going in the other direction. And this is history, right? People are fascinated with hard assets for a period of time, and then the pendulum swings and people are fascinated with paper. And if the Panama Papers taught us anything, when those got released, everybody's fascinated with paper. It's stored everywhere. Well, that's fine until people decide they don't want to have their wealth in paper, but then what would it be in, right? And as it turns out, there aren't that many places for that money to go, given how much there is. I don't think people appreciate. There's hundreds of trillions of dollars of this fantasy wealth out there, which are claims. That when people say, I don't know if these claims are going to be met, well, I'd rather not hold treasury paper, mortgage-backed securities. I don't want to have derivatives anymore. I don't want to have currency in a bank account. All those things that we've been talking about for a while, I think that's beginning. That's why I think we're just at the beginning of this gold bull market, because I'm starting to see interest from people who formerly were like, gold? Oh, how archaic. Now they're saying, maybe I should have some.
Yeah, and this is part of the wealth transfer that we've always talked about. The wealth transfer isn't somebody writing you a check. It's a bunch of people bidding up something that you already have. You get in early when nobody wants something, and then you get out when everybody wants it.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at all sorts of different hard assets right now. And here's my personal measure. I'm still accumulating gold. I never intended to have a lot of it or as much as I currently have. But my measure is, when I can swap an ounce of gold for an acre of productive land, I'm going to start doing that all day long. Because ultimately what I really want is I want that productive land, right? This could also be productive real estate, and there's lots of different ways to skin that. But here we are, we're in New England. I look forward into the future and I say, Oil's not going to be around forever. In my own children's lifetime, it wanes. A lot of people here still heat with oil. They also heat with wood. So those two things kind of follow each other, but kind of slowly. And so my genius plan, and either I'm really just a genius or I'm an idiot, but I don't care. I'll be a family legend one way or the other. Right? Crazy old great-grandpa, got us all this timberland. But my theory is that right now buying timberland here in New England is the way I buy energy. Uh-huh. It's BTUs on the hoof. And someday it's going to be valued that way again. Right now it's not valued that way. And right now, all the big families out of Boston, New York haven't said, I need timberland, hurry, right? But they will someday, for the same reason people have always valued land, which is that's the primary source of wealth in this story.
So what I want to look for is just tangibles. None of the intangible wealth, the paper wealth that Chris was just talking about. So that wraps this video up. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.